bit why you're running for legislator.
Okay. Well, do you want me to say my name or anything like that? Just why I'm running? Dive right in.
We'll just start with just why you're running. Yeah. Yep, just go ahead with that.
I'm running as a Democrat in House District 80, which is a state legislative district. And I've been observing the legislative process as an advocate for the last about 10 years. And I decided after last legislative session that I wanted to step forward and run for office because I feel like the district that I'm in should be represented by a more progressive voice. I have a strong independent voice and want to make sure that the needs of the district are well represented at the state legislature.
So then what kind of qualifies you or sets you apart from your opponent?
Absolutely. Well, my day job is that I'm the executive director of the Montana Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. And so that's a statewide nonprofit. I have been working on a variety of issues for the last 15 years, primarily various social justice issues. But through that work, I've been able to work on tax policy and our budget, and in collaboration with other organizations who are invested in having a state budget that reflects our values. And so I feel like I have a great deal of direct experience working on a number of different legislative issues. As I said, I've been an advocate up at the Capitol for the last 5 sessions, and so have a pretty advanced knowledge of how the process works, and believe I'll be able to hit the ground running on the first day and do what I can to represent the district.
And you touched on some issues. So what issues really concern you then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I've dedicated my career to working on violence against women and families, trying to create healthier communities. But as a legislator, I want to be able to balance that professional experience with some of my personal concerns. I believe that as a citizen, we should be able to have direct access to our legislature. And so one of the things that I'm most passionate about is wanting to actually represent the needs of the district. So if a constituent comes forward to me with a particular issue that they're concerned about or that they were affected by, I want to make sure to try and represent that concern. As an individual, I was the victim of identity theft several years ago, and through that process learned that our laws weren't really adequate for identity theft victims. And so I actually went to the Capitol as a citizen and asked the legislators to pass certain legislation, and I really believe that citizens should be able to engage in our process in that way. Some of my priority legislation or things that I care about are public education, higher education, the state employee pay plan, and our investment in public infrastructure. I think that's a really important economic development tool. Obviously, our community in particular is very impacted by the wages that state employees are paid, and then that feeds back into the economy here in Helena. And as a product of the public education system in Montana, I'm very passionate about making sure that we have adequate funding for K through 12 and also access to higher education.
Now, the final question that she has here, is there any issues that maybe as you've been campaigning that have really kind of caught your attention on those lines?
Absolutely. Well, I think that as I've been knocking doors and making phone calls, people are most concerned about, like I said, public education, wanting to make sure that we have an education system that is, affordable, well-funded, and that allows for our young people to be able to get the education they need, and they truly believe that it leads to economic development. I have a lot of state employees in my district, so those are things that I've heard a lot about. And I think healthcare and access to healthcare and good paying jobs, clearly that's what's in the public discourse right now, and those are things that I've heard a lot about on the doors.
Perfect. Anything else you want to add or anything else?
Just that, I know that this campaign season there's been a lot of different races, a lot of what I would consider kind of negative energy out there. And I just want people to know that I'm just a regular person who decided to step forward and run for office. And I have a lot of passion for the issues, but also compassion. And that makes me want to do this job. And so I hope they'll vote for me in November.